Hi Emma, how you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I understand you've been having some symptoms that are bothersome to you. Can you tell me about what's going on?
Yeah, I moved into my apartment about a year ago, and I've been having, I guess, like anxious thoughts, and sometimes I'm scared I'm going to lose my apartment.
Alright, so you've been having anxiety, you've been having thoughts about possibly losing your apartment.
Yeah.
Alright, so tell me more about that.
Well, when I write out my check for the rent, I usually would pay it online, but then I would click the button and it would submit it a couple times. So after, I just wanted to make sure I got paid. So then I started to actually go in person and pay it. But then I checked my statement just to make sure they cashed it and they got it.
To make sure they really received your payment.
And I'm also nervous that something might happen where I leave my straightener on and the apartment burns down or something.
All right. Do you find yourself acting on that thought, say specifically that thought with the straightener?
I'll check it, and I'll just make sure that it's unplugged, and then I look around and make sure everything's unplugged because I don't want anything getting hot.
When you say everything, what do you mean?
Like the toaster and my computer, like my laptop charger, and my cell phone, the charger for that, and just anything that's plugged in, like the television. I just want to make sure everything's unplugged before I leave.
Before you leave your apartment? What do you do when you come back?
I check to make sure they're still unplugged, but then when I need to use it, I plug it back in.
Alright, so if you need to use, for instance, your television, do you plug it in and watch it and then unplug it immediately or only before you leave?
Before I leave.
Before you leave? So you leave it plugged in while you're there?
Yeah.
Alright. When did you first notice the anxiety?
I guess 6 months ago.
About 6 months ago?
Yeah.
And how did it start out?
It started with just thinking about things, thinking about leaving, the door unlocked, or being unsure if I paid bills, just thinking about it, and then I would have to double check it and then triple check it and just kind of make sure.
Did it start with that? Did it start with the door locks?
Yeah, it started with just thinking and making sure the door was locked.
And do you still do that now? Do you check the door several times?
Yeah, I just make sure it's locked.
Alright, and so how do you do that? Do you get up and look at it and see that it's locked and then go sit down and think about it and come back? Or do you operate the mechanism back and forth?
Yeah, I just go and I look and I make sure it's locked, and then I'll go back down and I'll just sit back down and I'll be okay.
Alright, for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah. And does that thought ever come back and you have to go check it again?
Sometimes. Not really.
Not really?
I'll just check it and it's fine.
Alright. Do you have kind of a checklist in your mind for when you leave your apartment? Do you do unplug everything in roughly the same order and check everything in a similar order?
I haven't really thought about it, but I make sure everything's unplugged. I know what needs to be unplugged.
Alright, so you do have kind of a list in your mind of what has to be unplugged.
Yeah.
And you'll make sure it's all unplugged.
Exactly.
Alright. And how about when you lock your door from the outside when you're leaving? Do you check that?
Yeah. I'll check it, and then if I'm sitting in my car, I just might go back just to double check it and just make sure.
Alright, so you're checking the door, you're unplugging various items that may create heat. You're careful with your paying your rent.
Yeah.
So fear and anxiety surrounding losing the apartment in some manner. How is this affecting your daily life, these symptoms?
Well, I mean, it's time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm late for work because I'll think I left something plugged in and I'll have to go back inside. Sometimes I'll lock the door and have to go back and make sure it's locked. So I'm usually late for things because I'm double checking.
All right, so it's causing some problems getting places on time.
Yeah.
How about your level of anxiety or worry? How high would you say that is?
I guess it would be like high, I guess, thinking about it.
It's troubling for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you think about from when it started out, it sounds like with a few thoughts, right? If we say that's relatively low anxiety, yeah, how would what you have now compare to that?
I guess moderate, like a little higher.
Just a little higher?
Yeah.
All right. But you have noticed it's worsened over
Yeah.
the 6 months. Is it the most anxiety you've ever experienced?
I kind of consider myself an anxious person.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess, yeah.
This is the most you've experienced?
Yes.
Yes, this is particularly troubling?
Yes.
Yeah. Now you said you've always been, you said anxious person?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Just like group settings or, I remember just something when I was younger. I was like just playing with the door or something like that, and my parents took me to some doctor, and they just said I was anxious.
Did they give you any treatment?
I don't know. I don't think so. They
I don't
just
think so.
said I was anxious.
So other than saying you're anxious, was there any diagnosis provided?
No,
No?
not really.
Have you ever had any mental health diagnosis?
Just, I guess, just feeling anxious, but not necessarily like a diagnosis.
Not from a provider?
Yeah.
Okay. How about any medical conditions?
No.
None?
Mm-mm.
No. Have you ever been to the hospital or anything?
Just to like get my tonsils taken out, but not like anything else.
All right. How about drugs or alcohol? Any usage of those?
Nope.
Never?
Mm-mm.
All right. Emma, I'm going to have you see a counselor here. I get you scheduled to see somebody. I appreciate you taking this time with me, explaining the symptoms. It's been helpful.
Thank you.
Thanks.